ACC games, but in his career, 2-1 against Rick Pitino. Both of those wins coming while he was at the University of Dayton. Georgia Tech, home whites. Here's Travis Jorgensen, the redshirt sophomore from Columbia, Missouri, getting his first start of the season. Ryan Gregory telling us earlier today, against this Louisville pressure defense, he wants someone who's not going to turn it over, and that's Jorgensen.
Louisville starts in that zone.
Offensive rebound. Mitchell tries it up, and it just rolls off the rim for the senior from here in Atlanta.
Louisville, one of the best rebounding teams in the country, but this Georgia Tech team can get on the glass as well. More conventional lineup for them. They do start two big guys up front. That glass might going to be important here today.
Trey Lewis has it taken away, a feet ahead for Jorgensen, and it's the Yellow Jackets on the board.
It's nice when you're playing against the most efficient defense in the country to get a layup in the open floor to start the game.
Lewis, 3 in the red, now with the ball back into the starting lineup after coming off the bench last game on Wednesday.
It's so hard to score against Louisville in a half court, but if you can get things like this, just a nice little effort play by Adam Smith. And as we said, Jorgensen in the lineup for the first time. Look at that. Just gets lower than his opponent does, Smith, and then Jorgensen, nice to get a layup in the open floor.
Georgia Tech, a foul against Adam Smith. First of the game. Damian Lee wants 3, and he's got it, shooting 34% from deep, and coming off a 14-point performance on Wednesday.
And he's shooting 24% from deep in conference. He and Trey Lewis, neither of those guys have shot it well.
Rick Pitino saying that it's come down more to bad shot selection for those guys, contested looks, and that's a wide open one for Georgia's Hunt. He's short off the front iron. It's out of bounds. Georgia Tech basketball down by 1.
It typically does come down to shot selection. He steps in confidently. That's too much space for Damian Lee because he may not be shooting it well, but he is certainly a willing shooter with space.
Having Mitchell guarding him out there on the wing had to give him that space.
As a shooter, your eyes light up when you see that sort of a matchup. Like deflections and turnovers are the oxygen for this Louisville defense. If you're Georgia Tech, taking care of the ball today is priority number 1.
Jorgensen has been great at that this season. Around it in. Adam Smith, third best three-point shooter in the ACC, gives the Yellow Jackets a 2-point lead.
And that's what he was brought here to do. Give them perimeter shooting.
Onuaku with the offensive rebound. He fades left block. And it's pure for the sophomore from Lanham, Maryland. One of the numbers to love if you're a Louisville fan about Onuaku. He grabs 17% of the missed shots for Louisville.
And he's blocking 2.5 shots a game.
Foul on James White there, the push out for Georgia Tech.
You know, Adam Smith on the season has 61 threes. His team, the rest of the guys on this Georgia Tech team, have 57. He has given them a perimeter jump shot that they did not have last season. You see Smith's numbers there. This is a Georgia Tech team that shot 26% from 3 last season.
Third in the league in three-point field goal percentage with good company there. London Parentes of Virginia and Justin Bibbs of Virginia Tech. Lewis works the wing, and it's Lee trying to go by George's Hunt, and the pull-up is pure over Jacobs.
All 3 levels is Lee. We saw the 3 a few possessions ago, and then there, the nice hesitation and the giant killer floater. Terrific offensive player is Lee.
Last year, 4th in the NCAA in scoring. This year, the team leader at 17 points a game.
Ryan Gregory told us today against this Louisville defense, when we get our first clean look, we have to take it.
Jacobs turned away by Onuaku. It's Lewis with strength going right to the rim.
Got to get back. Louisville will press the issue in the open floor.
This early press, no surprise. The Cardinals press on 28% of their defensive possessions, second only to West Virginia. The Mountaineers doing it just under 40%.
Trying to understand this Louisville defense and what they're in is like trying to understand the Pythagorean theorem. I, for one, have no shot, but they are terrific in it.
Jorgensen, 15-footer, missed it. And it's a foul on the floor with the ball in the hands of Mitchell. Louisville with the early 4-point lead. When we come back, part of My Home Court Week. A look at McTeague.
Take that first clean look because there aren't many against the most efficient defense in the country.
Foul before the whistle was on Louisville's Damian Lee, who's first for number 0 in red. Georges Hunt gets into the paint. He misses it. Nonawaku is there to clear it. The sophomore averaging a double-double in ACC play. Lead to the edge for Johnson with the runner. Off the mark in the lane. Offensive rebound. Flip to the other side. It's cleared by Jacobs. Jorgensen, 3 in transition. In his first start of the year today, but no stranger to the starting lineup. Started 27 games last year. Count the bucket for Lee, and a foul on the move as well as he stretches the Cardinal lead to 6.
That's too easy. You've got to identify that this is what Damian Lee wants to do first. He wants to attack the rim. Now, it's a great individual offensive play, but you got 2 defenders there. Somebody's got to make a stand and make a play. And if you're going to foul a guy, make sure he can't get it up to the rim.
The 87% at the free throw line. And good to finish off the 3-point play. Ray Spalding, Donovan Mitchell out on the floor now for Louisville as well.
And that full court pressure really to get into your legs, to preoccupy you before you enter it into your half-court offense. And then they'll drop back here into a man-to-man, either that or the 2-3 zone. And oftentimes they can switch between the man and zone within a possession. Jorgensen looked up, saw 5 on the shot clock, and a heave is good for Quentin Stevens. A game like this, we're going to have to make shots like that. And Brian Gregory today at the shoot-around said we're going to need another guy to step up and make shots, be it Todrick Jackson or be it Quentin Stevens.
And we'll see if he beat the shot clock here. Looked like the release was good. This is part of the rules this year as Roger Ayers and Sean Hall, the officials, gather at the table just to our left to take a look at it. On a made basket, they can now check that out at 0.0. And it looked like, at least on that initial look, that his release came with 1 second left on the clock.
It looked good to me live. We'll see here. How about this shot? What a tough shot by Stevens. Ooh.
So count the basket for Stevens, the junior from Atlanta. Got hot when he went into the starting lineup against Virginia. 4 of 4 from 3 against the Cavaliers. Yellow Jackets just 1-4 in league play. That win against UVA, but losses to UNC, Pitt, Notre Dame, and Virginia Tech, which was a week ago. So they've had some time to think about that 78-77 defeat, one they had well within their reach. Loose ball, Heath bounces. Georges Hunt on the move, and the reach-in foul will be charged to Quentin Snyder.
Marcus Georges Hunt has been the man for this Georgia Tech program during his time here, and this is when he's at his best. He has such a good body, such a good frame. He's a physical, powerful guard. You see there, just really well built. He is at his best when he can use that size and his ability to finish in that paint.
Trey Lewis back on the floor, and Anis Mahmoud, the sophomore from Egypt, seeing his first time this afternoon. So it's Mitchell, Spalding, Mahmoud, Lewis, and Lee on the floor for the Cardinals. As Georges Hunt knocks down both. Lammers, Stevens, Heath, Jacobs, and Georges Hunt. The five on the floor for Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech going to press a pressing team. Tech has done a little bit of this after made free throws.
Is that a good idea or a bad idea against the Cardinals?
Well, it's the old adage is you press a pressing team. I don't know if I believe in it as much, but look, it's aggressive. This is a Georgia Tech team. They need a win. They're 1-4 in the conference. And part of playing this Louisville team is you have to match how hard they play and match how tough they are.
Mahmoud gets the offensive board, and beautifully done. The stick back with the right hand. On average, Louisville gets 16 second chance points a game. Second best in the country, only behind Washington. 4 already today. Jacobs, pump fake, and he draws the foul inside. Mahmoud and Lee in the vicinity for U of L.
Here are the second chance points you're talking about, Mike. Mahmoud just, with his length right up over the top of Lammers, and they score over half of their points in the paint. They're getting about 40 points a game in the paint, and that offensive rebounding a big component to that.
Second best in the country there, but a team that matches them well is Georgia Tech in that category.
And you don't see a lot of teams that play two big guys, right? It's much more conventional. That's what Georgia Tech does. They've got sort of a four-headed monster on the block. And Brian Gregory felt comfortable with their ability to hold their own on the glass today.
Front line right now for Louisville. Spalding, Mahmoud. Lammers lost Spalding, and then comes back to turn it away.
It's a nice defensive play there from Lammers to stay with it. I thought Spalding had a layup off the cut. Probably didn't have his balance. You see, I think he had a layup early, but way to stay with it if you're Lammers.
Team leading 25th block of the year, but no good block out from Stevens. As Mahmoud recollects, Mitchell loads up and had a little bit too much on. Three-pointer can tie the game here for Georgia Tech at home. Looking for their second ACC win of the year. Smith inside the arc. Off the front iron, and the tip from Stevens. An acrobatic move.
What a play.
Lammers swats it off the window. He came in 3 off the block shots lead in ACC play. Last Georgia Tech player to lead the league in blocks was Chris Bosch in 02-03. Smith, contested look. Lammers taps it out. Mahmoud comes up with it. Lewis. And a drop-off slam for 2. Ray Spalding from Mahmoud.
What a pass from Mahmoud. Louisville, 3 guys down there. Love the decision by Trey Lewis to drop it off to Mahmoud. And another nice pass by Mahmoud.
Three-point lead for Louisville. Defense stretching out to three-point range. Ethan Smith in the backcourt. 7 on the shot clock. Now Jacobs thunders his way to the basket. And a foul against Louisville. Rick Pitino can't believe it. He wanted to travel. Louisville by 3. One of their best players this year, Chinanu Onuaku. He's gone
paint, and that's one of the things Maryland does best. It's odd to see Michigan State lose at home, which they've done twice. We'll see if they can right the ship in that one.
And much to the surprise of many is that Indiana is at the top of the conference right now. Perfect in league play. Jacobs takes a seat.
You say Indiana has always had the offensive firepower. It's just a matter of being willing defensively.
Cardinals have led by as many as 7. The Yellow Jackets pull to within one. Mahmoud with the lob, and that's tipped. Lammers has gotten a hand on just about everything in the paint the last few possessions. Heath for Lammers just inside the arc. Mitchell with the kick out for Smith. He's doubled. Heath gets a good look from three and swirls it in.
Giving them a little taste of their own medicine is Georgia Tech. Active on the offensive glass. One of the best times to take those threes is off the offensive board. And Heath steps in confidently.
That's just the fourth three he's made this year in 14 tries. Lewis with an equalizer to silence the home crowd. Four conference losses for Georgia Tech by a combined 22 points. Lost a week ago against Virginia Tech by one, a game they could have had. And now it's Josh Heath heating up. He's got the last five for Georgia Tech.
The question coming into this game for Heath, I mean, they want him to play. He gives him another ball handler. Can he make an open shot? Well, that's two right there. Back-to-back possessions.
Onuaku backing down. Nicely done with the hook off one dribble.
I'm telling you right now, and I'm not understating this, Onuaku is going to be a beast. He already is, but he is going to be a beast in this league. Defensively, he's stout. He's an outstanding rebounder. And when he gets an offensive game like that.
Smith didn't have the angle on the entry pass, but he takes it away from Lee. Over to the corner, Stevens. Mitchell fighting for it and saves it. Stevens pulls out. Probably a bit of a quick shot there for Georgia Tech. Onuaku runs the floor and gets the foul. And as we talked about, the granny free throws coming up for Chinanu Onuaku.
Here it comes. We teased it, and we will deliver. And how about the big fella running the floor? You know, that's what a bad shot will do. Not a good shot, like you said, Mike, from Quentin Stevens. It leads to the run out. Now Onuaku gets himself to that line, granny style.
56% at the line this year. And it works. It's the brand new NBA Saturday primetime on ABC. It starts tonight at 8:30 Eastern. The storyline for Cleveland has been off the court. David Blatt, their head coach, fired yesterday. And Ty Lue, the new head coach. Cavs and Bulls, NBA Saturday primetime on ABC, presented by La Quinta. And coverage starts with NBA Countdown at 8. First was good for Onuaku, and he's a perfect 2 of 2. May not be pretty. They get some cheers, but it gets the job done.
You can get a letter in horse every time with that shot, too.
It's a good trick, actually. Dan Goodell into the game for the first time for Louisville. Freshman, native of Australia. Trying to go high-low without enough space. Mitchell turns it over. Lewis can't get it. Second chance opportunity is turned away. Baseline drive, and it's a foul. The ball in the hands of Smith.
Georgia Tech has been able to get to that free throw line early here. Their numbers between them and their opponents, free throw shooting in conference, I've never seen anything like it. It is unbelievable. And there they are right there. They are taking, or making rather, 11 free throws a game in conference. Their opponents are making 24. That differential is crazy. Their opponents have attempted 30 more free throws, or rather made 34 more than Georgia Tech has attempted. I mean, I've never seen it. So if you're Brian Gregory, it's good to see your team get to that line early in this game.
So, Chris, it's a staggering number and a huge difference. How do you explain those numbers being so starkly different?
Well, and also let's understand, in the second half, they're even worse. And Brian Gregory said a couple things. He said, one, you know, look, I don't know if people believe that we should be winning games in the second half to this point. He also made another really good point. He said, look, we played two big guys. And I think officials are more inclined to call the bumps and the hand checks for guards rather than if my guys are posting up and going to the basket.
Adele, too much on the three. Cardinals keep it alive. Snyder makes them pay. 16 second chance points a game, second most among major conference teams, and that is how they can beat you, among many other things. You talk about those fouls, Chris, where the directives have been for officials in college basketball this year. You've definitely seen it much more on the perimeter there as George's Hunt runs through some hands, and not as much of the post. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Running floater, and it falls home as the shot clock hits 0.
Well, George's Hunt is a guy who can take and make tough shots. I don't think that's how you draw it up. But when you got your leader,
Snyder for Onuaku. Contact, no call. Here come the Yellow Jackets. On the move, a flip down the lane. Mitchell couldn't follow. Jorgensen, his shot no good. Cardinals by 2. Georgia Tech, pedal on the floor. Blocking foul and 1. The Yellow Jackets playing at the Cardinals' pace. For Brian Gregory in year number 5, looking for their second ACC win of the year. In control right now, 26-25. Reverse layup. Too much spin on it for Jalen Johnson. Stays here.
You know, Georgia Tech's been aggressive, and we could tell the mindset. Like you said, they had a week to prepare for this game. They've come out, they've pressed after free throws, they've attacked that Louisville pressure, and they've forced the action trying to get that ball in the paint and finish at the rim.
It's Lewis in the corner on the pick and roll. He keeps it, trying to give it up for Onuaku, who eventually does get it, and his heave is a little too short. Jorgensen for George's Hunt, and the foul is there for Jacobs.
I mean, the pitch ahead has been terrific. And it's one of the nice things that is set up for Georgia Tech with Marcus George's Hunt off of the ball. He's been able to get out ahead. They're pitching up to him. And even on the missed layups, those big guys for Georgia Tech following the play.
In offensive efficiency, where they rank 8th and 1st in defensive efficiency. Inbounds to Onuaku, and the foul is called there on Jacobs. Do you see that foul?
Just reaching in over the top. I didn't. It's not necessarily a call I would have made.
That's where I was leading you with that softball there.
But I was never known as a good official.
Onuaku swings for Snyder. Todrick Jackson gets it back to Jacobs. Now Jorgensen, redshirt sophomore, can reset it. He's only turned it over coming into this game 5 times in the last 131 minutes. Fake a shot to try and make a shot. Jackson had it halfway down.
That was a good look. What a clean look he got.
And that's a clean look for Lewis. Can't leave him that wide open.
There's 2 guys you have to find in early offense. Trey Lewis and Damian Lee for Louisville. You've got to identify those guys and tag them before they catch.
The difference so far, Chris, between the success that Georgia Tech has had in a half-court set versus running up and down the floor, it's been a stark contrast.
And that's why, if you can kick it up ahead, you can play in transition. You don't have to play against that set half-court defense, and that has clearly been the emphasis for Georgia Tech.
Opposite corner, Lewis catches just the back iron.
And I think it's been a great change for Georgia Tech. Taking George's Hunt off the ball, allowing him to be a playmaker in the open floor.
Quentin Snyder called for the foul. Louisville's guard, his second. Coming off a career-high 27 last Saturday. Drains the first. These two teams played last year. Louisville came away 52-51 winners, despite being down 13 with 10 minutes to go. George's Hunt in that game, a team-high 13 against the Cardinals.
He certainly is a proven commodity in the ACC. Has had a terrific career here at Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's showing a little zone. Primarily a man team, but they will sprinkle in some possessions of this zone. I like the look out of the timeout by Brian Gregory.
And some tremendous height, which is very hard to contend with. Mahmoud going for the high-low with Onuaku. Charles Mitchell, his first foul for Georgia Tech.
You know, both these teams, you're going to see a lot of high-low. Very used to be conventional. It's more unconventional now, but the size, the strength of Onuaku to make the catch. And then if you're Charles Mitchell, that's a good foul. I mean, look, he shoots him underhanded, which can be intimidating, but he's only shooting 56%.
Perfect 2 of 2 so far, and clangs the first one out.
If he gets that close, Onuaku, it's okay to lay some lumber and make him earn it from that line.
And as you talked about before, the depth on front lines of both of these teams, they go 4 deep. Talented on both teams at the forward spots.
The paradigm has changed. Everybody wants that spacing 4-man, that face-up player. These two teams do it much more conventionally. High-low, 2 big guys. Roll and replace, all that stuff you do when you've got 2 guys who can play on the post.
Jacobs sees the double team doesn't come, and his shot puts it in.
If he gets to that left hand, he is so left-hand dominant. If he can get to that right shoulder with his left hand, his percentage goes way up.
8 points, 5 rebounds for the redshirt senior, closing in on a double-double.
That's why they post him on that right block, so he can go middle and get to that left hand.
Lee swerving his way into the lane and count the basket with the foul. Josh Heath, the junior transfer from South Florida, his first personal.
This is what they say when you cut to the basket, cut to score. What a nice pass from Onuaku, who's got his eyes up. And then Damian Lee, the nice cut down the middle, cutting to score.
He's got 10 with a chance to make it 11 and tie the game, and he does. 32 all. They could use a big night from him. He shot just 2 of 9 from 3 Wednesday night, even as they handled Florida State with ease at home.
And as Rick Pitino put it, Lee is coming off his 2 best defensive performances of the season.
Smith banks it off the window. That all started with getting out of the press.
Yes, it did. They started it with a trap.
Mahmoud got doubled down on and had a good look at the basket. Smith has it looking inside. He's only taken 2 3-pointers so far. 1 of 2 from 3-point range. The 3rd best marksman in the ACC.
You see there, Jacobs wants that left hand, and when he has to go to the right towards his left shoulder, just not as comfortable.
Lee goes away from the ball screen, spins into contact, tips it up, second chance. Smith, his 3rd triple try is no good, but the offensive rebound for Jacobs. Size advantage against Mahmoud, 262, going up against 210.
We asked Brian Gregory at the shoot-around, how are you going to handle this rebounding Louisville team? He said, we're a pretty good rebounding team, too. Our interior guys have some bulk and the ability to go to that glass.
Now back to Mahmoud. He steps in. It's short. Onuaku, a second chance. No. And this is where Georgia Tech has helped themselves, limiting those second chance points for Louisville. Mitchell bangs his way into the paint and travels. Good double team with Onuaku and Mahmoud closing in on him.
That was. And that was the double team was the key there. It put Mitchell right off balance. And once it came, if you're Mitchell, you just want to gather yourself, get your balance, throw it back out, live to fight another day. Just trying to do too much.
Jalen Johnson onto the floor. White and Lammers into the game here with 43.5 seconds remaining in the half. So some defensive substitutions made here as the Cardinals get set to go on offense by Brian Gregory. Full court pressure from the Yellow Jackets. Lewis tries to go by Heath. Has it stripped away. Todrick Jackson runs the floor. Floats it up. And in. The foul as well on Donovan Mitchell.
This Georgia Tech bench has come alive here in the first half. Just active hands, being alert, and then Jackson turns that turnover into offense. On the other end, a finish through traffic. What a great play from Todrick Jackson. And Georgia Tech back to the foul line.
9 of the 38 points for Georgia Tech have come off of Louisville turnovers. It's Jackson, former number 74 player in the ESPN 100, class of 2014. A three-point play, and the shot clock is off for Louisville, down to 7. Johnson tries it, gets front iron, and at halftime, Georgia and trying to make it win number 5 here at home this afternoon. Louisville has the basketball. Quentin Snyder controls for the Cardinals.
One of the things for Louisville, too, they got their 10 offensive rebounds in the first half, but they could not make a layup.
Onuaku does just that with a foul on White.
Yeah, how about the cut? Well, it's pick and roll. I mean, he sets a screen out there on the wing and then rolls hard to the basket. A nice delivery from Lee, and then you finish a layup. Again, Louisville, nice job on the offensive glass. Had a lot of point-blank shots, just could not convert on the inside.
9 points for Onuaku. The free throw makes it 10. He's also got 7 rebounds. And remember, for Onuaku, as he's helped the Cards get to 4-1 in league play, 5 ACC games, 5 straight double-doubles, closing in on number 6 today. Jorgensen, number 10, the White with the ball, got his first start of the year. No stranger to point guard. It was the starter there most of last year, but Brian Gregory said he wanted somebody who was trustworthy, wouldn't turn it over, and so far the Yellow Jackets have done a good job of keeping the ball in their hands. Shot clock is inside of 10. Georgia's Hunt out of bounds, and it's Louisville basketball.
One of the things I think helped Georgia Tech, too, is they've faced 2 pressing teams so far this season. Arkansas pressed them, and VCU pressed them. Both those teams pressed a lot more than Louisville does. Well, the thing with pressing teams, Mike, is they don't just speed you up physically. They want to speed up your mind. And if you can settle your mind down, if you can be patient, you have a chance to have success against those pressing teams.
White wants a long 2. Snyder, pocket pass. Oh, what great touch! And the basket counts for Jalen Johnson. Hockey assist. It started at the top of the key, and it bounced from Onuaku into the paint.
Well, and this is how you play the game of basketball. The ball goes from a pair of hands to a pair of hands. Look at the wing ball screen, the slip of the roll, and then another nice interior pass inside, and a finished layup. That is how you draw it up, Mike Cousins.
5 unanswered points for Louisville to open the second half. Free throw no good. Snyder's got it. Lee unable to follow. Smith with the ball, a quiet first half. 6 points and just 1 of 3 from three-point range. The graduate transfer who averages 14 a game. Was quiet last time, just 5 points in that loss against Virginia Tech. 5 on the shot clock now. Georges Hunt going baseline, tiptoeing, and a shot clock violation defended well by Onuaku.
You see how uncomfortable that Louisville half-court defense can make you. They actually force teams, their opponents, to average about 20 seconds of possession. Part of it is you got to figure out what defense they're in and then try to execute against it.
Ball goes into the paint. Johnson one-on-one with Mitchell. Backs it down for travel. 6th turnover of the game for Louisville.
Jalen Johnson, gonna be a good player, not quite there yet. You see, just not comfortable in the traffic underneath. And he did. He shuffled those feet.
Jacobs was wide open all at the other end of the floor by himself. Rick Pitino was trying to point that out to Onuaku, but nobody from Georgia Tech seemed to notice that. Jorgensen with the entry pass. Last touched by Jacobs, says Tim Coleman, the baseline official. Here comes Snyder off a 20-point performance on Wednesday. He has just 2 points, 1 of 5 shooting so far. Some contact coming around the corner. Georges Hunt, that's his 3rd foul. He said the words over to Brian Gregory about Damian Lee. He said he grabbed me. Sometimes it's only the second part of the play the officials see.
As most crafty players, you got 2 fifth-year seniors on this Louisville team. Lee is a smart offensive player. Lock up those arms with the defender, and a lot of times you'll get the call.
Immediate double down. Snyder gets it back. And Onuaku powers his way in. Second chance. And puts it home.
He is relentless. I mean, when you combine his size and ability with the motor, it's just a special combination. Didn't give up on the missed layup. Stayed with it. Got his team 2 points.
For a player who plays as hard as he does and is not the primary look on offense, his numbers are remarkable.
That's what I say. You have guys who have size, you have guys who have talent, but rarely do they combine that with a motor. And he's got it all.
Smith didn't get a good look. Jorgensen on the tip. Off the mark, 3rd chance. Mitchell with a step back from the left block.
Tell you what, you needed to bring a pork chop. There's a lot of meat underneath in this game. You got 6'8", 6'9", 6'10 for Georgia Tech. You got the same from Louisville, and bulk on all of them.
Mitchell gets the rebound coming off of his first 2 points of the game. He's averaging a double-double, 12 points and 11 rebounds. So he and Smith have been unusually quiet thus far for the Yellow Jackets, up by 2. Drop off for Jacobs. And a foul on the floor. That's on Jalen Johnson. Second on the sophomore out of Ypsilanti, Michigan for Louisville. And a quick substitution now. Mahmoud and Mitchell come back into the game to spell Onuaku and Lewis.
I'll tell you what, Travis Jorgensen's done a nice job today. in his first start of the year. This is a guy, he's only averaging about 15 minutes a game, but he's come in against the best defense in the country in Louisville, and he has really directed things.
What kind of pressure is that? Here's your first start of the year against defense number 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's unsettling. I will tell you that. And he has really done a nice job being a calming influence.
Smith drives and scores. 4-point game. Step for step with Snyder. Mitchell a threat from just about anywhere on the floor. Ball poked away, 5 to shoot.
That kills you, because that was a very good defensive possession. Everybody was active for Georgia Tech, plugging gaps, and then you force a tough shot, and Donovan Mitchell knocks it down.
That's pure strength. Jacobs and Mahmoud is a mismatch every time for Georgia Tech.
I'll tell you what, he will climb the highest mountain to get to that left hand, Will Jacobs, but once he does, you can say goodnight.
Inside of 15 minutes now here in the second half. Lee, good look up top. Lammers has it. Here comes Smith and Georgia Tech. Jacobs trying to get position inside. They get it back to him. One-on-one. Mahmoud. The left hand. Yes!
Mark it down. I'm telling you, this is better than any odds you could ever have. If he gets to that left hand, my man, it is going. The depth at the top is as good as it gets in the country.
Rick Pitino said earlier in the week, this year's ACC reminds him of the old Big East, the conference that could throw as many as 11 teams into the NCAA tournament field. Shot clock is at 10 here for Louisville. Snyder going to work on Heath. To the corner, Mitchell a 3. Fight for the loose ball. Smith to the basket with the left. He's got it. A 3. And the largest lead of the afternoon is short-lived because of Damian Lee.
What an exchange. I mean, that's what you live for. Exchanges like that. The hustle play, the effort play from Smith, turning it into points, and then Lee with the response on the other end.
In the league today, Notre Dame, Miami, Duke, all winners. Florida State, second half. Going up against Pittsburgh right now. Here is number 17, Louisville, down by 5. 13 minutes to play in Atlanta. Heath has Mitchell on his hip. Short on the pull-up and a foul. Louisville cannot believe it. That's on Donovan Mitchell. His second. Work to do for the Cards. It's uphill.
Those two guys are explosive offensively. I think they need to get better defensively, but you know, Allen's been terrific. And talk about Ingram. They just don't make bodies like his with skill sets that match him.
He's had to change his position a little bit with the injury to Emil Jefferson, but it has not much affected his scoring output.
Well, I think it's helped him because now he's playing at that 4 position. A little bit of a mismatch for him, giving him a little more space to operate. And he's also a freshman, right? I mean, freshmen, they deserve a little bit of a time to get better as the year unfolds.
As we've seen there with Chase Jeter, for one. Kick ball off the foot of Lammers. And Josh Heath just went to the bench for Georgia Tech. He sits with 6 right now, helping to play the point guard spot. The most he scored since that December 15th game against VCU, where he had a dozen. In for Onuaku. And a quick reach in. It was sandwiched there between Jackson and Stevens, and it's Todrick Jackson with his first personal foul.
You know, it's interesting, Mike. We're talking about freshmen. This has been an older person's game this year. It's been an older man's game. This game alone, you've got 4 fifth-year seniors. You've got guys who have been in college basketball for several years now. It's just skewing older is this season.
Mahmoud, and he goes to the left hand. So in a battle between Jacobs and Mahmoud, it has been entertaining post play to say the least.
How about the future inside for Louisville? Mahmoud, a sophomore. Anuaku, a sophomore. Such depth inside for them.
Add to that Jalen Johnson, second-year player, and Ray Spalding in his first year with Louisville.
Of course, Mathiang sitting out because he's hurt. I mean, just the depth for both these teams inside. You don't see that kind of girth on a lot of teams.
Give a lot of credit to Rick Pitino for recruiting with his staff. Ralph Willard, Kenny Johnson, Mike Pilato. Mitchell stepping through. And he powers his way into the chest of Jackson to pull the Cardinals within 2.
Out of New Hampshire's Brewster Academy, Donovan Mitchell going to be a special player. He really has the chance to be a good one. And Rick Pitino said he's a 4-year player, so he's going to be able to grow in our program.
Shot clock winding inside of 10. Jorgensen looking for an assist. Hunter Walker steps in front. Mitchell drops it off. Mahmoud hit from behind and will go to the free throw line. Lammers, his first foul. 2-point game.
What an impact those two guys. Smith, the guy struggled over the last couple games. Makes almost 5 threes a game. Has really been aggressive, and then Jacobs, as we said, has been a load on that block.
Mahmoud at the line. Got to give credit to the ESPN Stats and Information Department, keeping us updated throughout the game. Georgia Tech shooting 12 of 18 in the paint and 6 of 25 outside the paint. 67% versus 24%.
I always say it's a game of easy baskets. The more you create, you win. The more you give up, you lose. And there's nothing easier than getting that ball into the paint right in front of the rim and forcing the action.
8 seconds to shoot. Georges Hunt went away from the ball screen. Three-pointer, good! Todrick Jackson. The lead is back to 5. Georgia Tech has led by as many as 8. Louisville's largest lead was 7.
Wow. I mean, that is an advanced post move there. The spin into the finish. Delicious on that one. Wow.
Nice move from Mahmoud, who came to the U.S. only in September of 2013. Georges Hunt hangs, and he had Lee on his side. Lee saying to Tim Comer, come on, that's his second.
How about the bench contributions for Georgia Tech? Todrick Jackson, another guy, the lefty, burying it from deep. And then look at this. Mahmoud only averages 2 points a game. You'd never know it. What an advanced play right there.
He's saying, hey, make me a green room guy.
He's like, Rick Pitino, get me in the game. He plays about 11 minutes a game.
First free throw good for Georges Hunt. Less than an hour from now, over on ESPN, a great one of the Big Ten. Melo Trimble and 7th-ranked Maryland, 6-1 in the league against 11th-ranked Michigan State. They need a win. They're 3-4 in Big Ten play. Saturday primetime presented by DirecTV on ESPN, as well as Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. There's 2 for Georges Hunt. Spartans trying to end a 3-game slide. They have not lost 4 straight in 5 years. Denzel Valentine gets back toward full strength, coming off of that knee scope. Mitchell wants 3. Got it.
A big-time shot inserted into the starting lineup last game for Trey Lewis. Rick Pitino, when he talks about him, he speaks of him well.
fight for it. Here comes Lewis. Now Lee. Shredded by George's Hunt. Wow. It's out of bounds and it stays here. But it's a defensive gem.
Well, you get this steal. I mean, this is what Louisville does, forcing turnovers, deflections, the poke away there. But look at this play. George's Hunt doesn't give up on it, and wow. I mean, that is athleticism I know nothing about. This is what you call making a play above the rim.
That's now 5 blocks tonight for Georgia Tech. Lammer is responsible for most of those. And he was sealed off there by Mahmoud. 55 all with 9 minutes to play.
How smooth is Mahmoud? And he's doing it with both hands. In the last moment with his right, he goes there with his left. And Louisville ratcheting up the pressure, trying to speed up the mind of Georgia Tech, and a good Duke the other night. He's one of the best.
2 of those games, though, against Wake Forest and Boston College, teams that Syracuse likely should have beat. They'll get a good test if they make it there to Virginia tomorrow night. They can't fly to Charlottesville yet. The airport's closed. The Richmond airport is closed. So they're going to try and fly day of tomorrow. Go to John Paul Jones Arena, where the Wahoos are 29-1 in ACC home games the last 4 years. Ball tipped out again. Stays with Georgia Tech. 9 on the shot clock for the Yellow Jackets, with George's Hunt inbounding. Mitchell is the safety valve. Baseline drive, and it's good for George's Hunt. Past the outstretched arms of Mahmoud.
That's a big basket. Louisville going on a little bit of a run. Got an energy burst from their defense. Big bucket out of the timeout for George's Hunt.
Ball screen, Lee a 3. Short off the front iron. Onuaku called for the foul. His second.
You know, Leonard Hamilton, after that Florida State game, you called that game against Louisville. He said, you know, look, Louisville created a lot of indecision for us. And that's what their defense does. The changing from man to zone, the hybrid there. And their defense has almost become like the Sasquatch. The legend and myth has grown. But a good response in the last 2 possessions by Georgia Tech.
And you know what's part of the difference between that last game for Louisville? There's a reach-in foul on Mitchell, his third. As you look at who was on the floor, the primary ball handlers there for Florida State, you had Dwayne Bacon, Malik Beasley, freshman, no Xavier Rattan-Mays, coach's decision, he didn't play, and then Devin Booker had the most experience there. This Georgia Tech team has much more experience.
That's part of it. You know, Louisville wants to say boo and see if you get scared. That's what West Virginia does. I mean, that's what these kind of teams do. And so it helps to be older, like you're saying, Mike, to kind of stand up to that. We got to match their effort, match their toughness.
Smith, he hangs. Mitchell clears it. Inside of 8 minutes now in a 2-point game. Lewis hangs and delivers. 57 all, Louisville with a chance to take the lead on the other side.
It's smart to name the building after the $50 million donor. That's always good politics right there.
Lewis missed the front end, so he stayed tied at 57. 7th time this game has been tied. Heath off the high screen from Jacobs. Smith has not gotten many good looks from 3-point range today. Shot doesn't go, and Mitchell hits the floor.
That was nicely defended by Mahmoud. He just stayed vertical, made Mitchell go up over the top and take a tough 2-point shot. This is just good defense. How about the impact Mahmoud's made? I mean, that's just a tough shot. Now, of course, Mahmoud is 7 feet with a wingspan that is similar to Inspector Gadget, but still, just good defense without fouling.
Second foul on Mitchell. It's the 7th against the team, so 1-1 here for Donovan Mitchell. You know, that was only the third shot Charles Mitchell has taken today. Averaging 12 points, 11 rebounds. Mitchell true on the front end of the 1-and-1.
That's what I say. I mean, they have Georgia Tech sort of a four-headed monster going inside with Mitchell. Jacobs has been terrific. Lammers, and then James White.
Mitchell's got them both. Cardinals by 2. Did anybody touch it? Full court pressure stymies Georgia Tech.
Deflections and turnovers are the oxygen for this Louisville defense. It just gives them a great energy burst, and when they get that defense going, it helps their offense.
Heath hits the floor, Spalding to the deck as well. That was a mismatch there for Louisville with the big man against the point guard. Number 3 on Josh Heath, and the 8th against Georgia Tech. Here's where we've got to watch the free throw number again. Second half has been a huge difference at the line for Georgia Tech and its opponents.
That's why if you're Georgia Tech, you've got to continue to go inside. You see the numbers there. I mean, it's just stark. And that's in conference, folks. You're not going to win games with those kind of numbers. So they have to, Georgia Tech, you have to continue to press the issue in the paint and force Louisville to guard you without fouling.
Conference play, that's a disparity in just 5 games so far.
That's crazy.
Too.
I'm telling you, I said to you this morning, I had never seen anything like it. The free throw shooting disparity between Georgia Tech and their conference opponents.
Outscored and outshot at the free throw line in all 5 league games. 1 and 4 for Georgia Tech. To the corner, Georgia's hot. 3. Yellow Jackets by 1.
Well, how mature was that of Mitchell? You mentioned a second ago he hasn't scored. Instead of forcing up a shot, he kicks it out for 3, and then what a response from Trey Lewis.
The graduate transfer from Cleveland State quiets this crowd once again. He and Damian Lee have been spectacular at doing that whenever they've needed to. The first look is inside right now for Georgia Tech. Mitchell backing in on Spalding. Left hand. Almost down. Mahmoud, he's already got a career-high 8. Double digits now for the native of Cairo. Lee just took an elbow to the nose there, trying to guard Mitchell. It's been much more of a half-court offense in this second half for Georgia Tech. They had a big advantage running on the break in the first half. Tip try doesn't go, and a foul underneath.
Would not be.
He was not in the act of shooting, correct?
No, he was not, and that's what Rick Pitino's asking him.
62% free throw shooter. Offensive rebound. Jacobs sticks it in. And the Yellow Jackets still get 2.
Free throw blockouts. They are critical, especially in late game.
Jacobs has 16. Back to Mahmoud. He spins. Oh, my goodness. A career day for Anis Mahmoud. A dozen.
There are some times during a season where you'll find a guy. I mean, this Mahmoud has been terrific here today.
10 of his 12 points have come here in the second half.
Showing such an advanced game inside.
Shot clock inside of 10. Louisville has done an excellent job not giving open looks for Georgia Tech. Onuaku steps up. Basket and one for Georgia's Hunt. And Onuaku can't believe it.
Coming right into your living room, Marcus Georgia's Hunt gets the matchup with Mahmoud on him, the speed, and then once you lower those arms, Onuaku breaks the verticality with his arms, and I like to call. And how about the finish through contact, the absorption of the contact by Georgia's Hunt, and the ability to finish.
He's at 18, which is what he's averaging in 5 conference games. And a chance to tie the game. 65 all. Georgia Tech foul. That's on Georgia's Hunt.
That's not a smart foul.
It's his 4th.
Yeah, not only for that, but you send an 87% free throw shooter to the line and you don't make him earn it. I mean, it's an off the ball foul. Just not a smart play by Georgia's Hunt, the senior.
Fortunately, if you're Brian Gregory, there's not much of a decision to make here. The next dead ball will be an extended timeout. And you leave Georgia's Hunt in there.
You have to. And he's a senior. He should be able to play without that. The thing you worry about is the charge. You don't want him attacking the rim and putting himself in a bad position.
Big time rebound by Lammers. 2 times in his career, Brian Gregory has defeated Rick Pitino. Both were when he was the head coach of the Dayton Flyers. Last year, Louisville defeated Georgia Tech by 1, and it's coming down to the wire. So is this possession. 5 on the shot clock. Jacobs, a high arcer, does not hit the rim. Lee spots up, and it's a big 3 for Louisville.
How many times have we seen Damian Lee and Trey Lewis in transition, catch and shoot? I mean, the quick release. What a shot by Damian Lee.
Against Clemson back on the 10th. And you look at his last 3 games, averaging 6 points, but this is something else. Closing in on 3 minutes. Georgia Tech nearly lost it. Out of bounds. So the Yellow Jackets looking for their 2nd win over a ranked opponent this year. You go back to the 9th of this month. They took down number 4 Virginia in what was a tough week for the Wahoos, losing to both Tech schools, Georgia and Virginia. Their 4 losses in ACC play have come by a combined 22 points. Georgia Tech right there. 4 seconds. Georgia's Hunt draws the bump. And that's number 4 on Onuaku. 1-1 coming.
We mentioned that at the outset, the free throw line has been the disparity for them. They have not been able to get there in late games. And when they have not made those opportunities. Here, Georgia's Hunt, a chance to close within 1.
Marcus Georgia's Hunt at the line, shooting 1 and 1.
Perfect at the free throw line today. 27 points a week ago against Virginia Tech. Coming up big today against Louisville. Now 9 of 9. And look at those numbers. 16 of 20, 75% at the free throw line for Georgia Tech. 10 of 10, Georgia's Hunt makes it a 1-point game. Louisville still in control. Georgia's Hunt guarding Lee. Number 3 in white's got to be careful. He's got 4 fouls, and he's the Yellow Jackets' leading scorer. Into the paint. Back out. Corner 3. And it is off the mark. Lewis nearly had it.
It's It's a clean look. Got to the bottom of the rim and then just squeaked itself out. And a chance to take the lead if you're here and you got the ball in the right man's hands.
Onuaku, he's got 4 fouls as well. Smith, Georges Hunt, a reset. 5 seconds to the basket. Mahmoud rejects it. Lee had it before the ball went out of bounds. Now inside of 2 minutes to go.
That was a chaotic possession for Georgia Tech. They only had 1 timeout left. Perhaps why Brian Kennedy didn't take one to settle him down.
Mahmoud didn't get it clean. 1-on-1 against Lammers. And the sophomore from Texas is called for the foul.
This last possession is, look at the timing. I mean, Mahmoud, he's made like a Olajuwon or Ewing today. And on the other end, he's grabbing his knee here, but they're even throwing it to him on the block. What a difference maker he's been. I mentioned on the other end, Mike, Georgia Tech only 1 timeout. Typically, when you have a chaotic, unsettled possession, you see a coach at this point, again, call a timeout to get a good look. Georgia Tech only 1 of those. Perhaps Brian Gregory hoping Georges Hunt could go and make a basket, which he was not able to.
Offense for defense here. Lammers sits. Charles Mitchell back into the game for Georgia Tech. Mahmoud, only 41% at the line this season. 1 of 2. It's a 1-basket game. Georgia Tech trying to knock off its second top 25 opponent this month. First it was Virginia. Today the opponent number 17, Louisville. Foul on Damian Lee, his 3rd. 9th team foul, so it's still a 1-and-1.
When you get the right guy, you know, that's why I say the ball's got to be in Georges Hunt's hands. He spent the time off of the ball for a bulk of the day. At this point, not only can he draw those fouls with his size and his ability, but he's also 80% from the line.
Marcus Georges Hunt at the line, shooting 1-and-1.
He stays perfect. 11 of 11 for a senior from College Park, Georgia.
He's 6'5", 210. He's just a tough matchup. He's Georges Hunt.
Tie game, 69-69. A minute 15 to go. It's Lewis down the lane, drop off, Mahmoud, hit from behind, and he will go to the line. And that is on Marcus Georges Hunt. His day is done.
A nice delivery to Mahmoud. Georges Hunt comes over, and I don't like the call. We'll take a look at another angle here. He gets on that shoulder a little bit, and can't really see it from behind, but he got a lot of that basketball. And he's been spectacular. I mean, he's really controlled everything with the ball in his hands. Here was the finish, gave his team the lead by 2. The kick out there, the nice step in for the shot. He's been very good from the foul line. That's a tough loss. You know, you want a kid to go make a play, but with 4 fouls at this point, I don't know if you want Marcus Georges Hunt going to make that play.
Mahmoud at the line. It's only the 2nd time this year he's even made 2 free throws, and the 1st time this year he's made 3. Timeout Louisville. They have 1 left. Georgia Tech has 1 remaining. With the Cardinals up by 2, a minute 1 to play.
one, and then on the road, if you're Louisville, would be a major statement.
1 minute remaining.
Here's Jorgensen into the game. One timeout left for Georgia Tech. Georgia's Hunt has fouled out. Where does the offense run through?
Running that screen to screener. Try to get one of those big fellas on the block.
Jackson's got a mismatch against the big man, and he throws it away. Lee comes up with a steal. Now what does Georgia Tech do?
There's not enough. Yeah, you got to foul. There's not enough of a differential. You know, that last possession, you've got to try to get either Charles Mitchell or Nick Jacobs on the block. I mean, these three perimeter guys, Todrick, you're asking them to do something they're not comfortable doing. And it just took too long. You've got all that girth and all that meat and all that scoring power on the block. You've got to try to find a way to get that there. But look, he makes both of these. It's still one possession, so you're right in it. You're Georgia Tech.
3-point game, and coming up next, you're on ESPN2, the 2016 NFLPA Collegiate Bowl. What a game. Georgia Tech had the lead at the half, and Snyder makes them both. 4-point game.
Can't turn it over here, and you don't need three. Attack the basket.
Smith gets into the paint and scores. Timeout, Georgia Tech. Their last, 73-71. Smith, Jackson, and Jorgensen. Quickly inbounds, no foul there, and now Mitchell is wrapped up by Jackson. So Donovan Mitchell, who shoots 77%, will be at the free throw line for the Cardinals with 16 seconds remaining.
Again, of the options you had, you did not want Lee or Lewis going to that line. You get a freshman in Mitchell, a guy who has shot 77% from that line, but doesn't have nearly the attempts that those two fifth-year seniors do.
2 of 2 today. And the Yellow Jackets need a quick bucket again. Full court, man-to-man pressure. In for Jorgensen. He's got Smith, the three-point shooter off a screen. A heave. No good. Lammers tried to follow. We've got a whistle with 6.9 seconds left. Georgia Tech basketball. Rick Pitino uses Louisville's final timeout. Did you like? Stevens wants a three. Nope, Louisville's got it. That may just seal it as Snyder runs away and draws a foul. A heavy Louisville contingent. Kenny Klein, their sports information director, said somewhere in the neighborhood of almost 20 buses making that trip from the Bluegrass State.
This was a heck of a win. They gritted this one out because Georgia Tech had a great game plan. They got production off of their bench that they have not gotten all season long. This was Georgia Tech, really one of their better games, and Louisville just grinded this one out on the road. A big-time win.
Oh for 2 there, but too little too late. Your final score, number 17, Louisville.